Hey, this is Bobby from 3 Gun Nation. I'm here with Wayne Dayberry from Nightforce Optics, and we're going to talk about mounting a scope today, as well as a field expedient scope mount. So I am a factory shooter, okay?
Right on.
Factory basically means a red dot, no magnified optics.
Okay.
Probably about the weakest point of my skill set when it comes to 3-gun is I have no idea how to mount a optic, nor do I know how to zero it. So will you start and kind of walk us through, teach me how to mount an optic?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I know that I mount mine right here on T7, so we're going to kind of cheat with that. But the first thing you want to do is get a basic mock-up kind of on where all the bits and pieces are going to lay out. So I'm going to get my Nightforce Unimount pushed forward on my pick rail. I'm going to lay my scope in there roughly where it's going to be, and I can check my eye relief just based on kind of the rough setup. And that's in the ballpark, so I'm not getting any scope shadow, and you'll see that more in magnified optics. You'll get the two donuts that kind of cross over. If we can get rid of those two donuts, you know your eye relief's set pretty good.
What's the importance of pushing the optic forward?
That's a good question. So say you're running an AR-10 or any other heavier recoiling weapon system, you're going to get a lot of impulse coming back through the system. If you have this mount pushed forward on that rail and the lugs are engaging, you're not going to get any movement. Okay. Your zero is going to hold right there. You can induce a pretty good amount of error if your scope's not level. So if this thing is canted over to the right or to the left, you're going to miss the target even if you do everything else right. So we're going to go through that process here.
Showing me how to basically remove any type of cant from the mount.
Exactly. And we've got a pretty cool tool that'll help us do that. Plus I've got that field expedient method we were talking about.
That's my kind of mounting, field expedient.
Yeah. We've got it roughly about where we're going to be. We're going to recheck our eye relief again. And yeah, I've got no floating donuts. Everything looks crystal clear. Looks like I can shoot both eyes open on this 1X.
So what are you looking for as far as eye relief goes? I mean, I understand what eye relief is.
Yeah.
I see most people have their optics pushed pretty far forward on their rifles. I know a lot of that is so that they can access their charging handles.
Right.
But what are you looking for?
So depending on how you've got your buttstock pulled out, or if you were trained up with a nose or charging handle, it's going to depend on where your cheek weld is. Okay. And most of our optics give you about 3 to 3.5 inches of eye relief. And what that means is that's the proper distance of your eye to the rear objective. And if you don't have that set properly, you're going to see two floating donuts like this, and it's going to be impossible to get on target. You're going to be all over the place. Once you get that eye relief set, you get a crystal clear image, and especially with our new 1X optics, you can shoot these both eyes open, so it's like shooting a red dot. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I think I'm pretty happy with where that mount is. I'm going to go ahead and torque up these cross bolts here. I've got a 68 inch-pound torque wrench. That's the spec on most of our mounting solutions. We've got a higher recoiling capable mag mount, which takes 100 inch-pounds, but whatever your mount is, you'll definitely want to torque these to the proper spec. And again, what that's going to do is make sure you do not lose your zero once you're shooting. That's pretty important.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, yeah, especially out here when you're dumping the gun and you're throwing it all over the place. Real important. So next thing we're going to do, now we've got this mocked up pretty good. I've still got some play in here. Front to back, my eye relief is pretty good. But what I want to do is level this scope. And to take to the next level of detail, what basically you have is you've got your reticle, and then you've got some level surface between your optic and your gun. On a Nightforce scope, that's the bottom of our saddle. I know that's level to the reticle. Okay. You got some other options. You can run a level on top of the cap or on top of the adjustment. That's going to be pretty close, but Nightforce guarantees that bottom of the saddle is level. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the right way, then a field expedient way.
What is that thing?
All right.
What the heck is that thing? I've seen bubble levels before, but...
Yeah, so this is a cool little tool. It's called an ATACR, made by ATACR, and what it does is it creates a level plane based on our mounting solution here, or based on your pick rail, because these will be level. Okay. And as that goes up and down, we take the play out of the scope and make that scope level. And it's pretty quick and easy to use. So we pop this in there, start putting the little angled piece in, and then we can sit here and just work the play right out of the scope as we push in on that little tool.
I see.
Right there, now the play's all out of it. So I'll leave that in there set, and I'm going to torque these screws down.
And you always want to go kind of in like an X pattern?
Exactly.
Tighten one side down and then the other side, right?
Yeah, when we go to do the final torque, we're definitely going to do an X pattern. That makes sure that the torque is consistent across the ring cap. All right, so those would be pretty good and snug right about there. So what we would do is pop our 25 inch-pound torque wrench on, and we'd snug all these down in an X pattern.
So all of them before we completely tighten one of them?
Yep,
okay.
Yep. Do an X pattern, get them pretty snug, X pattern pretty snug, then finish them off in that X pattern as well. Do you want to do the field expedient one?
Yes,
okay.
I like that word. It sounds quick and easy, and a lot cheaper too. Because
if you don't have one of those dudes, how are you going to get that level?
What does this Nightforce toolkit cost?
It's a little spendy. It's $395 retail.
Okay.
And one of the big cost drivers on that is these calibrated torque tools that it comes with are specifically calibrated at 25 and 68 inch-pounds. That's exactly to our specification.
Okay.
And those, to get a tool that's that calibrated that well, it's gonna run you a little bit. All right, so let's get our play back in here. Okay, so we're back to where we got the scope, got some play in there. Now here's the other tool we're going to use, Nightforce business cards.
Business cards.
Business cards.
Business cards level scope.
Yeah, so here's a field expedient method. What we're going to do is we're going to build up a parallel surface between the bottom of the scope and the top of our mounting solution or our pick rail. And we're going to basically do the exact same thing we did with our ATACR tool, is we're going to take any of the play out from between the optic and our mount. I think we're just about there. I'm going to loosen this up just a touch.
Business cards are a little bit cheaper than that toolkit, huh?
There we go. That's pretty darn close. If you've got nothing else, that's going to be pretty close to level. It's not a bad way to do it. We recommend a proper leveling tool, but that's going to do in a pinch. So now we'd go through the same process of our X pattern and snug those up to 25 inch-pounds, and you're good to go. You're pushed forward on your pick rail. We've got our cross bolts torqued. We've got our reticle level. We've got our ring caps torqued down to 25 inch-pounds. It's time to go hose some targets.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Let's go zero this thing now.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.